Before we get started with our advice about exercise, we wanted to remind you that patients with pulmonary hypertension are complex. Experts agree that PH patients do best when managed by a team with deep knowledge and experience in pulmonary hypertension.
Recommendations about exercise is one great example of why a PHA-accredited care center is so valuable. Our understanding of exercise and pulmonary hypertension is rapidly evolving, and recommendations about exercising with pulmonary hypertension have changed in the last few years as new research becomes available. Less experienced physicians may not be aware of this and are therefore still advising patients against exercise.
Current data argue strongly that well-treated PH patients benefit from exercise. Before you follow the advice in this video, we want you to ask your provider team about the safety of exercise for you. Your physician should be able to tell you in general about whether exercise is safe and point out anything you might want to avoid. If your provider does not think that exercise is safe, make sure that you ask why. It may be that there are temporary circumstances that make exercise unsafe for you, and we certainly respect your provider's opinion.
We hope that this video will serve as a guide for you to develop a stronger body with greater independence. You're going to feel breathless as you begin exercising, but if at any point you have severe breathlessness, dizziness, or a sensation of chest discomfort, you should slow down or stop. If your symptoms don't improve after 5 to 10 minutes of rest, you should contact your doctor.
In this video segment, we are hoping to stretch your ideas about what it means to exercise and stay fit. Your tour guide today is my partner and friend, Carolyn Quill, an assistant professor of medicine at the University of Rochester who treats patients with pulmonary disease and attends in our intensive care unit. Sammy has had idiopathic disease for about 6 years, and his fight currently includes parenteral remodulin. Mychea is a newly diagnosed pulmonary hypertension patient who has a young family and is trying yoga to increase her strength and flexibility.
So we're just going to walk through a pretty basic yoga practice here today, showing you some different options. Some poses in a chair. Mychea is going to demonstrate a couple poses in the chair, and Sammy's going to demonstrate some more standing postures, some balancing postures. Yoga is a great type of exercise for really everybody. We like to say yoga is for everybody. But if you have pulmonary hypertension, just a couple things that you'd want to know if you were going to go practice yoga out in the community somewhere. So first, you want to avoid things like a class that's heated or a power vinyasa type class if you're new to yoga. You want to look more for classes that advertise as gentle or restorative. You can also look for chair yoga classes out in the community. The other thing that's really specific to pulmonary hypertension, especially if you're new to yoga, is that you really want to avoid poses where your arms are over your head for a prolonged period of time, or anything where your head is down below your heart for a long period of time, because this can cause the pressure on the right side of your heart to go up in an unsafe way, especially if you're not used to it. These are things I wouldn't expect a routine yoga teacher out in the community to know. So this is something that you can know for yourself to be true. So poses like downward dog, deep forward folds would be things you probably wouldn't want to do as you're getting into a yoga practice. So we're going to get started here, just to start by getting centered in the room. So if you're practicing at home with us, turn off your phone, turn it upside down, turn off the ringer, turn off the TV, turn off the radio. Just get centered in the room. Find a comfortable chair that you can sit in. Your palms can be face up or face down on your thighs. And go ahead and close your eyes. And just focus your energy on your breath here. Breathing in and out slowly and easily, with your mouth closed if you can. You might find that you even create just this very quiet, oceanic sound with your breath. And part of what makes yoga so special is that it's not just about the physical practice. It's also about breathing and meditation. So this posture-based practice, this asana practice, also gives you practice with the breathing and even gives you some introduction to meditation. Take a long, slow, easy breath in. Easy breath out. And you can go ahead and open your eyes. Sammy, I'm going to have you stand up. We're going to come into our first pose, Tadasana, or mountain pose. So if you're standing, you want your feet about hips width apart, toes facing straight ahead, 12 o'clock. You're going to bring the weight evenly into both feet. You can run a rock back and forth, really to settle into the four corners of both feet. And then settle to stillness here. Ground your feet into the earth. And if you're seated, it's the same thing. You just ground your feet into the mat. Feel the earth under your feet. And engage the muscles in your thighs if you're standing. Get tall through your spine. Tilt the front of your pelvis slightly forward. And if you can, draw the pit of your belly back towards the spine. And spine is nice and long, and your shoulder blades pull back together. You soften the shoulders. Really nice. And just set your eye gaze on a single point in front of you, preferably one that isn't moving. Just breathe in this mountain pose. This is a great pose to come back to throughout your practice. And from this Tadasana, we'll move into some simple calf raises. So seated in a chair, you'll just lift your heels up and lower. And if you're standing, you can lift up and lower. And you'll take maybe 10 of these, just starting to wake up your calves. Maybe use the small muscles in your feet. And if you're standing, you'll challenge your balance just a little. But you still get all the same muscle activation if you're sitting in the chair. So as you lift and lower. Now we're going to move into some more dynamic standing poses. And we'll set these up with the assistance of a chair. We're going to move into a pose called Crescent Lunge. So you're going to start on the right side. And start it right up next to your chair. Right foot facing straight ahead. You want to be right on top of your mat. Yeah, stand right behind this. You're going to step your left foot straight out behind you, bending into your right knee. So you can use the chair for balance. And again, even if you're using the chair, you don't want to have a lot of body weight on it. You just use it to check your balance. If you want to challenge your balance, you can bring your hands to your heart. You should feel this in your right quadricep muscle. The left heel is lifted up. Yeah, and you can come up a little higher onto the ball of your left foot. And for more challenge, you can take more space front to back, sink deeper into your right knee. And if this feels like a lot, you can shorten up the stance or come out a little bit from the right knee, backing off. And then we'll take Crescent Lunge on the left. So you step your left foot forward. And now you just step your right foot back. Come up onto the toes of your right foot. And try to keep your torso really upright here. Yeah. One of the keys as you're going through yoga practice is like, if something feels new or challenging, like you always have to come back to breathing. It's part of what I think makes yoga so great for people who have pulmonary hypertension, is it really just comes back to the simplicity of breathing. And breathe in here. And breathe out. Good, and you can step that right foot forward. And come back to that Tadasana mountain pose. Your toes are together, maybe hips width apart. Weight is evenly spread between both feet. Hands at your side. And now we'll take Warrior Two. So it starts very similar to the Crescent Lunge pose. So you're going to start with your right foot forward, step your left foot back, maybe about halfway to 2/3 of the way back on your mat. Your left leg is straightened out at about a 90-degree angle, so that's perfect, just like that. Yep, just like that. And again, how much space you take front to back just is gonna depend on the flexibility you have in your hips and how much challenge you want. And what you're gonna do with your left leg straight is start to sink into your right knee. You can use the chair for balance and a little bit of support. That right foot is facing straight ahead to 12 o'clock. And then draw your right knee slightly towards the right pinky toe side of your foot. You'll probably feel that in your glute muscle, the butt muscle on the right side. And from here, you can keep your hands just as they are, or even bring them up to your chest, or extend your arms wall to wall for a full warrior two. And then come back up to center. Step your left foot forward, and we'll take that on the other side. So left foot facing straight ahead, 12 o'clock. Right foot out at a 90-degree angle, perfect. Really ground down into both feet as you sink down into your left knee this time. So your hips are facing this side of the room. And your upper body, your eye gaze is looking straight ahead. You want your shoulders, to be wall to wall. And the tendency here is to bring your shoulders up towards the ear, so just keep them sinking down. Always remembering to breathe in and breathe out. We'll come into a few balancing postures. So both of you come to the right side of your chair. We're going to work on a pose called tree. So everybody knows tree. It's a popular yoga pose. So what you're going to start with is your right foot lifted just slightly, almost like a kickstand. Your right inner thigh is twisting and facing forward. As you get more advanced, you might lift your right foot up against your left calf, or even above your left knee, just avoiding the left knee with your right foot. And in these standing balancing postures, really focus on pulling into center line. Pull the pit of your belly in towards your spine. To challenge your balance here, you can take one hand off the chair. Maybe take your hands to the center of your chest. And if you fall out, that's great. You found the edge of what you can do today. And let's take tree on the other side. So come around to the other side of your chair. And this time bring the left foot maybe right up against the right ankle, the right calf, or maybe all the way up above the left knee. Good, and I can hear them breathing. It's a good sign. Lower your left foot to the mat. And come back around to the right side of your chair. We'll do a pose called standing leg raise. These are poses that are done in every yoga class. So anybody can do these poses. So this time, you'll begin by lifting your right knee up to about 90 degrees. And this might be plenty. And from here, you want to create that sense of that mountain pose. Hips facing straight ahead. You expand across the chest and upper back. And for some extra challenge, you can begin to open your right knee out towards the right side. You can keep your eye gaze directed straight out in front of you. Breath is wide and easy. And again, you can play with balance here, lifting that hand off the chair. And then lower your right foot to the mat. And we'll take standing leg raise on the left. Walk around to the other side. Then lift your left knee up to 90 degrees. You feel this in the hamstring, the muscles in the back of your leg, your glute muscles, and the hip flexors. And you can stay here or you can open this up to the left. And sometimes a hand under the left knee can help to support this pose. Yes, if you bring your hand right here. Yeah, exactly. And then keep your shoulders back and down. Nice. Good. And lower that left foot to the mat. All right, and then we're going to move into some poses that are more centered on the ground, but I'm going to show you a couple modifications in the chair as well. So we're going to do some cats and cows. So Sammy's going to come down into a tabletop pose. And in tabletop, you want your knees right under your hips and your hands right underneath your shoulders. Your back is in neutral, so there's no dipping here and there's no rounding in your basic tabletop pose. And then from here, with an inhale, you're going to come into a cow pose, arching your back. And as you exhale, come to cat, round your back up. And then arch all the way up through as you exhale, round like you're a cat. And then inhale, arch, just lower, yep. And then breathe out, round. Good. And then in the chair, you can see Mychea is already doing this. So you can round and arch. Such a great way to fight that rounding in the thoracic or upper spine here. And in either case, you just keep your eye gaze focused on a single point. And you move the cats and cows to breath. Come into a seated single leg extension. So Mychea is going to stay in her chair. And Sammy's going to come to seated on his mat. Extend the right leg straight out. Left foot is tucked in. You're just going to reach towards the toes of the right foot. It's a great place to take a generous bend in your right knee. There's no extra prize for doing this with a perfectly straight leg. You want to keep your spine extended long. So if that means bending your knee to avoid rounding in your back, you do it. You can see that Mychea is doing the same thing, but in a chair. And take this to the left side. The left leg extends long. Bring your right foot up against your left inner thigh. And everybody's got one side that's tighter than the other. And you just observe that. I'm going to have you move into knee to chest pose. So Sammy, I'll have you bring your right knee in towards your chest. Mychea, you're going to do the same thing, just in the chair. You can see they both have their hands interlaced over their right shin. And you can decide how intense you want this pose to be. So if you use your bicep muscles more, you can pull your knee in closer to your chest. Or you can just take a more relaxed version of this pose. Well, let's take this to the other side. Straighten your right leg out and bring your left knee into your chest. You can use your grip and the strength of your biceps to determine how much effort you want to put into this one. And you can release the grip on that left leg, straighten it out. Now we're going to come into a spinal twist. So Sammy, I'll have you lie flat on your back. And bring your right knee into your chest, left leg long. You're going to draw your right leg over your body towards the left side. You can even catch your your right shin with your left hand. And extend your right arm long. You can look out over your right hand to intensify the stretch. Yeah, and you might even want to grab right here. Yeah. And you can see Mychea doing this spinal twist in the chair. So her shoulders are coming towards the side of the room. She's breathing easily here, even in a twist. And then we'll bring this twist to the other side. So straighten your right knee, bring your left knee into your chest. And then draw your left thigh across your body, extending your right arm long. And this is just ringing out your yoga practice. Bring this back to center. And let's set up for Shavasana. So Mychea, I'll have you stand up. Just lie flat on your back. Letting your toes splay out to the side. Relaxing the muscles of your calves and your thighs. Arms are at your side, palms face up. Eyes are closed. And the muscles of your face are relaxed. We're going to leave them here. But if you have 5, maybe 10 minutes to spend in your Shavasana, take that time here. And thanks so much for practicing with us.